Well, hello, and welcome to it's a quick little conversation. My name is Dwayne Morris, and this is my friend David Arledge,
Hello.
and we're in David's barn, as he calls it, and we've come to share a special story. David and I have been friends for a while now, and just have made it a standing appointment on our calendar to get together every Monday morning over some good food, but more importantly, around the conversation and sometimes the study of Scripture. And a while back, we had a conversation that I think David would say was probably a defining moment.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. It was eye-opening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
David had, some of you may know, I wrote a book several years ago, back in 2014, and David had read it, and so we were just having a conversation one day about some experiences David has had, and David said, "Well, I wonder how I could get my story out to more people." And I said, "That's real easy, David. You write a book." And, and yeah, and that's exactly what he did. He laughed about it. He thought I was cutting up and being crazy, but I'm glad to tell you today that David has followed through, and he's written a book called "You Can't Walk on One Leg," and it's been an incredible experience for the two of us to journey in writing this book. But the purpose of today is just to give you an introduction to the book and an introduction to David, and just to tell you a little bit about what God has done in his heart in helping him put this on paper. So, David, just real quick, tell us who you are and where you're from, and maybe about your family.
Yeah, I'm David Arledge, just from right here in Chesney. Grew up here, lived here my whole life. It's I tell, and I mentioned in the book that we always consider it God's country, because you can, if we opened the barn door back here, we
Right.
could liable to see deer running around or dew glistening in the hay field. So it's always been here. My wife, Laura, we've been married 36 years now, and have a son, Scott. He is 30, married to a sweet girl, Caitlin. They've been married 3-4 years now, and are actually in the process of expanding their family.
Wow.
So it's a good time for all of us.
That's great. We don't want to give the whole book away.
We almost have.
Well, no, I promise we have given away. Because all kind of thoughts have come to my mind. There's a great story, and we won't share it now, but there's a great story about how God used some friends in David's life on a very important night, when all your coworkers and, and your family, everybody kind of showed up at the same time.
Right.
And,
just look for Night of Laughter.
Yeah,
it will make sense.
Yeah, it'll be good. But I want to wrap this up talking about this place.
Oh, wow.
Because this place has its own chapter in the book.
It does.
You never
well,
think.
this place has its own chapter in my life.
That's good.
Yeah.
This is called what David calls the barn in the book, and it's more than a barn. I think, I don't know if you say it in the book, but it's a sanctuary.
It is. Yeah.
It's a place where David had a lot of conversation with the Lord.
A lot of hard conversations.
Yes, yes.
Very hard.
But it also became a place of healing.
It did.
Your own little personal rehab institute.
It did.
So just real quick, talk about the barn and what it means to you.
The thing is, and again, I tell everybody from the introduction, we live here in Chesney and always have. And you can't see all the surroundings from the video, but right over there is a workbench with a table saw and a router and all that. But you can see it.
Yeah.
If you move all those pieces of lumber over there, you can set 2 amplifiers up.
Uh-huh.
And if you move this welding machine back here to the side,
Yeah.
you can set a drum kit right there.
Yeah.
And just because it's my barn, right here where we are, there's a wood stove right here.
Yeah.
So my amp always sat right here in the winter.
Next to the heater.
Next to the heater. So it was a place to where we found out that I mean, it's been a wood shop, it's been a cabinet shop, it's been a farm shop. We've done everything from worked on tractors to 53 Chevrolet pickup trucks.
Right.
But it was also a place where we could come together and play music. And man, I've seen some hoss musicians come through here.
Right.
But it was never about, it was just about the camaraderie.
Yeah.
Sitting right here by this wood box, we would get off work from a night shift at the tire factory, and the coffee pot's going now.
Yeah.
There was a flat top guitar sitting right here, and people would just come up, you know. After my stroke, it became a place to where when I was still in the process of trying to rehab my left side, I couldn't do much with it. So I would come out here and I would just bring my Bible. And I'm talking, 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, it's still dark.
Right.
I would build a fire and I would just sit here with my Bible. And this is the place where I could ask God, what are you doing?
Right.
Why me?
Why me?
I could ask him, what did I do wrong?
Right.
I don't deserve this.
Yeah.
It's really hard conversations. But it was also a place where I finally realized that, it's just an old shed.
Yeah.
It's an old tool shed that's been here for 30 years. But Laura has a beautiful way with words. Maybe Laura should have wrote the book.
You're probably right.
She has a she has a beautiful way with words. And she said, she summed the barn up one time. She said, even though it was just an old barn, it took on a life of its own.
Right.
Because every time anybody walked in, life was spoken into them.
Yeah. That's good.
And the world was left out there.
Yeah.
You were not allowed to bring bad, only good.
That's good.
And in a good environment, God can do a lot of good things.
Yeah. There's a song called, I can't think of the name of the song, but one of the phrases is, where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is life.
There is life.
Yeah.
There is life.
Yeah. David, we're always sharing books, and I mentioned to David, gosh, a long time ago, about a book called The Two Chairs.
Yes.
And if you notice, there's only 2 chairs out in this barn, so I'm a little bit intimidated because I'm sitting in the other chair.
You're on the throne.
Yeah. But the whole idea is that you need a place. We all need a place.
Absolutely.
Where we can have conversation with God.
Right.
Maybe it's in the car, maybe it's at home, wherever.
Yeah, and that's what I tell everybody. I'm telling the book, whatever you're going through, and you're going to go through something, find your barn.
Right.
It don't have to be an old wood shed.
Yeah.
It can be your closet. It can be your bedroom when there's nobody. Find your barn.
It can be a car.
It can be a car. It can be a morning walk in the springtime.
That's right.
When find a place where you can talk honestly. Well, here's the thing about talking honestly with God.
Yeah.
A couple of things. You have to be prepared for honest answers.
Yeah.
And you have to listen intently.
Yes.
Because a lot of times I found out that God answers us, he can only answer us truthfully. And sometimes it takes us a minute to process the truth.
Yeah.
But if we will find a place. And again, I've taken some flack for this from the theologian brothers that I have. But when I talk to God, he don't care how many pretty words I know.
Oh, that's right.
When I talk to God, I set that chair right there, and it's like I'm talking to my daddy.
That's it. That's it.
And you have to find a place where you can do that.
Yeah.
And be honest.
Elijah is a story where Elijah talks about the wind came and the voice of God, or the Spirit of God wasn't in the wind.
Right.
The fire came, and the voice of God wasn't in the fire. The earth shook and the Spirit of God or the voice of God went in the fire.
But then,
The whisper of God.
right, the still small
The
voice.
still small voice.
And I tell everybody too, with that story and with everything going on, the greatest conjunction I think that was ever put in the Bible,
Right.
but God.
Amen.
Whatever it is,
Yeah.
but God.
Exactly.
Mm.
And you know what? Too many times that's what we say. That's what we say to Him. You know, we receive by
Right.
God, but God interjects. But God changes our circumstances. But what happens is God says this, and we go, "But God, I
But
can't."
God, are you sure?
Exactly.
Yeah,
We but God.
exactly.
But you know, but you make a great point. Finding your barn
Yes.
is so important. And then I said, your car. I have found that the times when I'm in my car and I turn the radio off, I don't turn on a podcast.
Right.
It's just me driving. I can have some really good conversation.
Oh,
That's probably
absolutely.
the most isolated time in my
Mhm.
day is when I'm in the car.
And I'll ask you and see if you've ever experienced this, because I have. In those times when, say, you've got a trip to a 45-minute hour trip, and you do that and you cut everything and you just, God is not in this chair anymore, but He's in the seat, right? And you're just talking with
Right.
Him. And you get to wherever you're going and you stop and think, how did I even get here? I don't remember getting here.
Oh yeah. Did I stop at that red light?
Yeah, I hope I did.
I hope I did.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's good. Well, folks, this is. I hope you've enjoyed it. I know I have.
Oh, we'll sit and talk all day,
We
brother.
will.
Thank you
This
so
is
much.
good. Our whole purpose is just really to give you a chance to see David, to hear about the book. Again, it's You Can't Walk on One Leg, My Stroke Survival Story by David Arledge. And you can get that on Amazon. You can get it in print, or you can also get it in a Kindle download. And if you're local to Spartanburg, you can respond on Facebook, and David is in Chesney, and I'm sure he will accommodate
Oh, absolutely.
any type of opportunity to meet and get you a copy. Right now, there's $7, and that covers the book. Hey, real quick, tell them what happens if they pay $10.
Oh yeah, we which is another blessing from the Lord. We have worked out a deal with my rehab hospital, SRI, and I recommend that to everybody.
Yeah.
But at SRI, if folks are willing or can pay $10 for a book, then that will cover the printing cost for another book.
Yeah.
I mean, you still get one, but you basically pay for two.
Yeah.
And we've worked out a deal with SRI that for all of those books, we'll be able to donate a book
Yeah.
free of charge
Yeah.
to a stroke survivor,
Yeah.
which will hopefully encourage them. And we've talked with a couple of other folks that are wanting to do the same thing.
Yeah.
So if you can do 10,
Right.
yeah, just if you can do 10, we're going to try our best to get at least a picture with the folks we get to donate it to.
Yeah.
And we will try our best to get that picture and information to you.
Right.
If you donated a book,
Yeah.
I would send you a picture. Dwayne, this is the person you were able
Yeah,
to
I
encourage.
got my picture.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
But that's only for people that are local.
right, yeah,
If
local
if
thing.
you get it on Amazon, it's just going to be $7.
Yeah, it's a $7 charge.
Charge. Well, great. Well, David, thank you.
Thank you,
This is
my
good.
friend.
Hope you've enjoyed this, and encourage you to pick up the book and maybe a couple and use them as gifts to encourage people in your life. But thank you so much, and hopefully we'll catch you again later.
Thank y'all.
Yeah.